What's up everyone, it's day 78 in the Big Brother 22 house and 4 will shortly become 3 tomorrow night as we head into the final 7 days. That's right, we've only got 1 week left of BB22 guys, so without further ado, welcome to your live feed update. Right before we get started folks, I will say as I always do, please hit the subscribe button if you are new around here, and also please click the like button and hit the bell icon to get notified every single time a brand new upload goes live on the channel. Question of the day now folks, and with Big Brother 22 coming to a close very soon, obviously the rumours have started up all again about a potential winter season. So say guys, if we are to get a celebrity season in winter, I'm very interested in who you would like to see go in the house. Could it be someone you want to see return from Celebrity Big Brother seasons 1 or 2, or could it be a totally brand new celebrity? You know, any thoughts that you have on a potential celebrity season in January? Do you even want it to happen? But which celebs would you like to see compete for the title of Celebrity Big Brother Champion? Christmas and Nicole were talking in the morning about Christmas's season, and Christmas was sort of wondering, out of the cast of Big Brother 19, who is actually sort of talking essential BS about her for actually being put on the season. But then Christmas was sort of going through the motions, being a bit sort of, you know, this person could be yada yada yada. I don't think she said anyone in specific, but I think she ended up sort of saying that the majority of the cast are probably rooting for her. And, you know, I've actively seen, you know, online, Josh and I think Paul is actually rooting for her as well. They were obviously in the final 3 together, and I haven't really seen anything about anyone from Big Brother 19 saying anything negative about Christmas, so I think she's actually quite right there. But yeah, I think she's just sort of a tiny bit paranoid on what people are thinking. But yeah, nothing too much. It's the Big Brother house. Of course, you're going to get paranoid. It's a game that you're playing. It's a social game where you've got to trust people, and things can get paranoid when you feel like you potentially might get cut or you might not make it. And Christmas is definitely getting cut this week, so I think she does have a right for paranoia. Later on, a very interesting social interaction again was between Nicole and Christmas was talking about how she basically categorises her friends. She has hello friends that she calls, where she waves at them when they walk by. She's got front porch friends where she'll have a cup of tea with them outside the house, but they don't come in the house. She's got friends that can come in the house to sit in the living room, but they are not allowed in the kitchen. And then she's got friends who are allowed to come into the house and go everywhere in the house, including the kitchen. Definitely an interesting scenario she's got there with the Christmas's kitchen and Christmas's living room scenario, but hey ho, whatever works for you. Houseguest was sat in the kitchen for a duration of time discussing spirit animals, and they were sort of talking about some of the questions that Julie often throws to them on the live show, and you know, they were sort of throwing them around, and you know, I think Enzo called Tyler a shark, and then Nicole came through and called Tyler a snake. And I think even though it's not fully sort of game wise enough, it's sort of just when it gets down to this point in the season, everyone's just talking about the jury constantly, and they are obviously very hyped up about if they are going to get their vote. And I don't think Nicole can do much about that right now, but I think Nicole genuinely is very happy Tyler's in the jury and not in the game right now, because Nicole did view him as a huge threat, or more likely a spirit animal of a snake. With the power all in Cody's hands this week, Nicole sat down and made her essential. It was sort of a half pitch to try and stay in the house, because I think she knows that Cody is definitely going to keep her around this week. But Cody, being Cody, had to sort of have a bit of fun with it, and he was teasing her and sort of saying, you know, I'm not really thinking of cutting you. You know, when it was sort of just like very vague, you know, it wasn't sort of like, oh, no way, or really reassuring. You know, Nicole was saying, are you thinking of cutting me? He was just like, no, and then continued on to the next question. So Nicole was obviously panicking and she was stressing out, but I think she really does know deep down Cody's keeping her, and she said to Cody that if you take me to the final 2, you have a 100% chance of getting to the final 2, which we'll get onto later, which actually seems to be wavering slightly after Enzo has said something today that has mixed things up a little bit. And you know, Nicole is more than likely to cut Cody. I really do believe she could do that. I think both of those, Enzo and Nicole, have extreme loyalty to Cody, and a massive part of them, maybe 60-70% of them, wants to take Cody to the final 2. But that 30% can often get the better of you on when you have to make this decision and the pressure's onto you, and you can just go, okay, we've got to do it, take Cody out. But we'll get onto what Enzo said later, because I think if Cody goes to the final 2 with either Enzo or Nicole, he's won the game. Enzo was telling Christmas that it should be the 2 of them in the final 2, and I genuinely do believe Enzo knows he would take the win if he was sat next to Christmas, but it's a little too late for Enzo. He couldn't have got, well, he should have tried to get Cody on a call out earlier if he really wanted to take Christmas to the end and seal his victory. I really do believe the only person Enzo can beat now in the final 2 is definitely Christmas, but she's going, and he could, there's a little chance he could beat Nicole. I'm not saying it's definite, I think the odds are in Nicole's favour, but he's definitely more likely to beat Nicole than he is going to beat Cody. It seems as though this is a pivotal moment in the season that could turn into something big. Enzo has had an essential realisation, sort of epiphany moment, where he has said, hang on, do I actually have the votes to beat Cody in the final 2? Maybe the piece of the puzzle that I'm looking for is to cut Cody, and Enzo is genuinely thinking of winning this final HOH and cutting Cody. But the challenge is first for Enzo to actually win this final head of household competition. It's going to be difficult, and it's going to be ballsy if he's going to take Cody out, but it will be a respectable move in an all-star season that could seal him the victory. The guy who slayed the person who everybody thinks is going to win is something that's very impressive. And I think for those of you who have seen Survivor Edge of Extinction, a similar thing happened, where it was sort of the Rick Devon show essentially all along, and then Chris swings in. This is a spoiler obviously, and Chris takes out Rick Devon, the person who the whole jury is rooting for to win and thinks is going to win. And Chris didn't even do that much throughout the game, and he made this big move to take Rick out, and when he did it, he sealed the victory. And that's all Enzo has to do. If he can take Cody out, he can win the game. It's as simple as that. But Enzo has a pattern of doing this, as we know. Every single week he wavers and goes, hang on, let's jump to the other side. But then he goes back, then he goes forth, then back and forth, etc. You guys get the idea, and there's a lot of yours and bros along the way, as we know. So it doesn't really matter what happens here. I think all he needs to, like in Enzo's head, he needs to, because I think he will waver backwards and forwards several times, which is why it doesn't matter. But as long as he lands on the fact that he needs to take Cody out at the end, that's the decision that's pivotal, and that's the one that matters. If he doesn't do it, it's too late. He's playing for third or second place. I think Nicole and Enzo both need to put their heads together and realise we need to get Cody out if we want to win the game. Christmas is planning a Hail Mary as the last minute ditch effort to stay, and she said that she's going to go speak to Cody and tell him that Nicole would win hands down against him in the final two. And Nicole said, all this sort of stuff, planting one seed about Nicole, planting a seed about Enzo, sort of saying that Enzo doesn't want to sit, because Enzo has actually told Christmas that he's not really sure if he wants to sit next to Cody in the final two. So Christmas is obviously going to go tell Cody that information, make Cody a tad more paranoid, and then Cody may just flip and keep Christmas around and send Nicole out the house. Now, I think Cody definitely stands a better chance of getting to the final two with Nicole in the final three rather than Christmas, but you never know if Christmas can flip things. I think it's extremely unlikely. Again, a huge uphill battle if she's going to pull it off, but again, we've got to give a hand to her if she manages to do it. Towards the end of the evening, it was very much just a reminiscing evening, as the house guests only have 7 days left in the Big Brother house. It's crazy that we only have 1 week left. I can't believe it. We're going to know our winner on this day next week, so it's crazy, crazy stuff, guys. But they were just reminiscing about past winners, past house guests, etc. And yeah, just had a bit of a chill evening. It seems to be the pattern now that Christmas's fate is pretty much sealed. Obviously, things will ramp up next week when we have 3 head of household competitions, or 3 parts of a head of household competition. Very, very exciting times ahead. To sum everything up, Christmas's fate is pretty much sealed, but she is trying to do a last Hail Mary effort to try and stay in the house. And then we've got Enzo on the other side, who is actually thinking of wavering, of not taking Cody to the final two, because he believes it could be the puzzle piece that could seal him the victory. Meanwhile, Nicole is a bit paranoid about Cody cutting her at the final 4, but it's not going to happen, or very likely not going to happen. Christmas is very much likely heading out the door this week, and then the battle for the final head of household competition commences, and obviously whoever wins that makes it to the final two, and they decide who they are taking with them. That is all of your game updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching today's video, and I hope you've all had a great day so far, and I hope you have the rest of a great day as well, guys. But let me know your thoughts on this week. Are you excited to see Dr. Will's jury roundtable? Do you think there will be one? Who are you hoping to win the final head of household competition, and who are you hoping to see evicted this week? Lots and lots of exciting things to talk about there, guys. But again, thank you so much. Please check out the description for a few fun interactive features where you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, as well as become a patron of TV Talks with Tom, guys. But thank you again so much, guys. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Do all of that stuff. But until your next live feed update, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.